man ngayon, pinala ng pagkakataon, nag-iisang humarap sa hamon at hindi uurong. Kahit nasa malayo ka, saan mang panig ng daigdig, tinig mo'y makakarating. Pakikinggan ang iyong hiling, ang tinig Pinoy, karamay mo. Kahit saang dako ng mundo, isang mithiin, isang hangarin, marinig ang tinig natin. Ugali natin kinagisnan, mula nooy nagtutulungan. Pilipino ay nagkakaisa, sa ibang bansa ay magkakasama. Isigaw sa buong mundo, nang marinig ang tinig mo. Tinig natin ay pagsasamahin, tagumpay ay magkakamit. Ang tinig Pinoy, karamay mo. Kahit saang dako ng mundo, isang mithiin, isang hangarin, marinig ang tinig natin. Ugali nating kinagisnan, mula nooy nagtutulungan. Pilipino ay nagkakaisa, sa ibang bansa ay magkakasama.
Isang mapagpalang umaga po ang sana'y sumainyo, mga kaibigan, mga katinig. At sana po, kung nasa ang dako man ng mundo kayo nando sa kasalukuyan, ay samahan ninyo ako sa loob ng susunod na 30 minuto. Dito po sa Ottawa sa kasalukuyan ay napakaganda ng panahon. It's sunny and it's not cold at 14 degrees Celsius out there. So I should be headed to the office immediately after the show. Mamaya po ang tabihanan ninyo, makakasama natin ang guest natin for today na si Ahmed Hussein, Minister of Families, Children, and Social Development. Pag-uusapan po natin ang mga kalakaran, papalapit ang elections 2021. Yan po ay sa September 20 dito sa Canada. So kung kayo po ay hindi pa ready, I suppose you should do your due diligence and check who among the protagonists in your respective ridings you will be choosing as your representative. It's an important event po. Ito ay federal election and therefore could be our barometer on how this country will move forward, especially after this pandemic. There had been lots of losses, lives as well as mga kabuhayan ng maraming Canadians. Of course, this is not unique to Canada. Ang buong mundo po is reeling under the pressure of this deadly virus. And hopefully, things will look better for all of us, not only in Canada, but throughout the world. Canada is lucky because of its position in the world of finance. Isa po ang Canada sa mga members ng G7 countries, which indicates na kahit pa paano po ay angat ang kabuhayan nila rito. Namin pala, nandito nga pala ako sa Canada. So far po ang vaccination dito ay nasa mataas na antas na. I think it's around 70% kung hindi ako nagkakamali. And most of these, at least 50%, ay fully vaccinated. Kaya tapos na po ang lockdown dito sa amin sa kasalukuyan. Pero ganun pa rin po, pinag-iingat ang lahat. Sana ay obserbahan ang mga necessary standard protocols. Yun pong particularly wearing a facial mask, lalo na kung nasa sa loob ng mga enclosed facilities. Sa mga restaurant, sa mga kung saan-saang mga indoors, facilities. And of course, physical distancing, observe that, medyo nakikita natin kahit pa paano nagre-relax na yata ang mga tao, no ha? And, hindi natin siguro sila masisi dahil after all, napakatagal ng panahon na tayo ay medyo nakubkob ng gusto sa ating mga tahanan, di ba? Lalo na yung mga kabataan, medyo agresibo yung mga yan, kaya naghahanap ng kahit pa paano yung mga action. Yan ang nature nating mga kabataan. Nakikinatin na ako. No? Okay, sana po isamahan ninyo ako. Mamaya po, ay tignan natin, baka may mga nag-comment na rito sa atin. Sabi po niya, si Fernando Udtuhan, the Incredible Man, aka Pinoy Samson. Nag-a-advertise pala itong si Mr. Udtuhan. Okay, bayan ko, Pilipinas daw. Ang spelling po ng Pilipinas, kung Tagalog, P-I, hindi po P-H. Okay, si Susan Crystal J. Hello to you too, Susan Crystal J. Si Susan po ay isa sa mga napakasisipag na members ng ating Tinig Pinoy group admins. And talking about our group admins, sila po ang mga partido na dapat ninyong pakipag-ugnayan, especially doon sa ating papainit na Calendar Girl 2021 contest. Ngayon po ay open na yung entries. So kayo po ay pwede na mag-submit ng inyong mga entries kung gusto ninyong sumali sa ating munting pa-contest na ang grand prize which will be given to the deserving Calendar Girl 2021 is no less than 75,000 pesos. I had to be careful. Kaya I had to say pesos kasi piso po ang pinag-uusapan dahil di natin kaya yung $75,000. Napansin siguro ninyo yung background ko ngayon. Ano po? Ito po ay dahil dedicated po itong special edition ng Tinig Pinoy. Ngayong araw nito sa ating kasalukuyang mainit na nagaganap na kampanya ng ating mga party leaders. Dito po sa Canada sa kasalukuyan ay 5 yung pangunahing parties. Una dyan, siyempre, yung sitting government, yung liberal, pinangangalawahan niya ng conservative parties, tapos yung National Democratic NDP, okay, yung pong Green Party at saka yung Parti Québécois o Black Québécois ba yan? Yan po. So kahapon ay nagkaroon sila ng balitaktakan, debate. Nanonood po ang inyong lingkod at wishing na sana sa Pilipinas ay magkaroon din ng ganito na yung talagang elevated yung level of discussions. Hindi po ba? Yung bang usapan ay cerebral, hindi lang batuhan ng kung ano-ano, lalo na pag nauwi na lang sa personalidad. Ganyan po, unfortunately, nangyayari sa ating bansang Pilipinas. Kaya nakalulungkot, pero at the same time, mukhang naging gano'n ang kalakaran sa atin, personality-based. Halos kulto ang nangyayari sa Pilipinas. Pero sana po ay magkaroon ng konting level up, ika nga. Yan. So sabi po ni ng ating birthday celebrant noong September 9, that was only yesterday lang yun, di ba? Si Regina Sosing po, magandang umaga din sa'yo. She's watching daw. Sabi niya, ayan, mananalo kayo ng 75,000 pesos kung kayo ngayon ay sasali sa Calendar Girl. Yung final competition ay sa December. Yan. Itanong po ninyo sa ating mga admins. Yan. Meron po tayong at least 6 na active Tinig Pinoy group admins. And of course, you can also submit your registration sa ating mga DJs. Ano ha? Nandiyan po si DJ Michelle or DJ Mitch, si DJ Jerry, si DJ Charmay, and of course, Regina Sosing, as well as to myself. And then ipapasa po natin yan sa ating mga Tinig Pinoy Group Admins. Isa po sa mga kailangan member kayo ng Tinig Pinoy bago kayo sumali sa ating munting pa-contest. Yan. So, ang tabayanan po ninyo, maya-maya lamang ng konti, I think at 9:50 ay makakasama natin si Minister Ahmed Hussein. Okay, siya po ang ministro ng Family, Children, and Social Development. Siya po ay isang senior minister. Before his current posting, siya po ang ministro ng Immigration. Yan. Marami sa ating mga immigrants na katulad po ng inyong lingkod ay malapit sa mga liberal. Kasi during the liberal governments, particularly noong panahon ng tatay ng kasalukuyang Prime Minister ng Canada na si Justin, yung pong tatay niya si Pierre Trudeau, ay binuksan po. Naging liberal sila sa pagpapapasok ng mga immigrants. Kasama dyan ang maraming mga Pilipino. Sa Canada po, sa kasalukuyan, ayon sa data na available, ay halos 1 milyon na ang kabuuang bilang ng ating mga kababayang Pinoy dito sa Canada. Nababalitaan po ba ninyo yung nangyayari ngayon sa tennis world, dyan sa US Open? Ano dapat term gamitin? Isa pong malaking pagpapala dahil ang ating kababayan, she is half Filipino, half Ecuadorian, and of course, a Canadian by citizenship. Si Laila Fernandez po is now into the finals of the US Open. Tinalo po niya kagabi yung nakalaban niya sa semifinals. This giant killer of a very, very petite Canadian is really turning heads, making the biggest waves in the tennis world among women. Imagine, tinalo po niya yung Grand Prix champion na si Osaka ng Japan. Pagkatapos noon, tinalo niya si Kerber, isang American na talagang top-notch din, dati ring champion. Pagkatapos, dalawa pa. But before that, of course, marami pa siya mga dinaanan. And she has proven to be a good tennis player, and hopefully, with God's blessing, at sa panalangin po nating maraming mga magkakababayan dito, sana po ay maging matagumpay ang kanyang kampanya at hirangin siya bilang kauna-unahang Filipino-Ecuadorian Canadian na maging champion ng isang major world tournament, the US Open. Okay. Silipin muli natin ang ating comment box kung mayroong mga pumasok. Sabi po ni Susan Crystal J, good morning daw and belated happy birthday. Yan. Sinusundan din daw ni Regina yung US Open. Doon po sa mga nanonood sa kasalukuyan, pakishare lamang po itong ating munting palatuntunan para sa ganun ay marami ang makasama natin. Okay. Hindi po tayo masyadong magtatagal ngayon dahil ito po ay special lamang na pagtatanghal ng Tinig Pinoy. Ika-10 ng Setyembre, taong 2021. Tayo po ay kasalukuyang naririnig sa YouTube Live at sa Facebook Live. Tayo po ay naririnig din sa www.tinigpinoy.com. So, good evening daw, sabi ni Chinli Rungduen. Isa po yan sa isa po yan sa mga qualifier sa ating grand finale. Yan, sa main event po natin sa Calendar Girl 2021 na gaganapin sa ika-18 ng Disyembre 2021. Yan, meron tayong petsa. Yun po yung pinaka-final live interview nung mga magiging matagumpay na 5 finalists. So out of 5 finalists, ay isa lamang siyempre ang magiging Calendar Girl 2021. Alright. So si Chinli Rinduin, if I'm not mistaken, ay Miss June. Tama ba yun, Chinli? Paki-correct po ako kung ako'y nagkamali. Right. Okay. Hinihintay na po natin kumonekta ang ating, sandali ha? Nasaan ba yung aking tepelo, no? Ano natin? Okay. Alright. Naabisuhan po lang natin yung ating contact sa opisina ni Minister Hussein. Okay, andali lang po. Kasi 9:50 na eh. Supposed to be nandito na yung ating kakapanayamin. Ano, ha? Pero mukhang wala pa. Okay. Right, it's 9:50. Where is... Ayan. Okay, ipinadala po natin yung ating text dun sa office ni Minister Hussein. Okay. Oh, nandito na pala si... Good morning,
Good morning.
Minister Hussein. We're good, sir. And how are you?
Very good.
Thank you for giving us the opportunity to speak with you at this period, very close to the national or federal elections, which will be on September 20. There are many issues that we would like to ask you. With your permission, I would one by one enumerate them.
Go ahead.
Are you ready, sir?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So I was watching the election, the debate, the English debate last night, and also the French debate, which was translated happily in Tagalog. I was really surprised. Anyway, one of the first things that the conservatives are asking is why is the election held at this point in time when the current government is only on its second year in power and while we are in the midst of this COVID pandemic?
Well, first of all, the conservatives don't have any credibility on that question. They have voted a number of times against the government against the Liberal Party in government doing confidence votes. So obviously, when you vote in a confidence vote against the governing party, you are voting for an election. So they've done that so many times. So they can't really talk about not wanting an election when they have voted numerous times for an election. The second thing, sorry.
Okay. Well, I would agree with you on that one because of the record of the Tories regarding these particular issues. But a lot of people, not just the Tories, are asking, why are we calling an election in the midst of this pandemic?
And secondly, the chief medical officer of Canada, Dr. Tam, has said that it is now safe to conduct an election, and she's the most senior public health official in Canada. She has said that this is that we in Canada have the capacity to hold a safe election. Third, the reason we are having an election is because we got elected in 2019 with a mandate to govern, and shortly after that, there was the COVID-19 pandemic.
Right.
And this is something that no one around the world could have predicted. No government, no party saw this coming.
Agreed, yes.
But we dealt with it. We've dealt with it. We're dealing with it. The fight against COVID is not over. But throughout COVID, we have had the backs of Canadians. We've supported families, children, businesses, and the Canadian economy.
Yes.
It is the Liberal party in government led by Justin Trudeau that has delivered 66 million vaccines 2 months ahead of schedule.
Okay.
Remember, our leader Justin Trudeau had promised to bring vaccines for every eligible Canadian by
Right.
September. By September, but
Okay.
we have done it. We've done it. We achieved that goal by July, so 2 months ahead of schedule.
Okay.
We've supported businesses. We've supported Canadian workers. We've supported families. We've supported people through the Canada Emergency Response Benefit. So all of that work has happened. Now, as we complete the fight against COVID, we're also offering Canadians a vision for a stronger, inclusive economic recovery. That vision and how we get there is very different from the vision of what happens after COVID being presented by the other political parties. So I think now is the right time to go back to the people and offer them the those different visions and ask them to provide their input and ask them for a mandate for that economic recovery. We are offering the vision, for example, of building a Canada-wide system of early learning and childcare that will deliver $10 a day childcare for every Canadian family from coast to coast to coast. That vision is now a reality in 7 provinces and the Yukon Territory. We want to complete that work. The Conservatives will cancel the agreements that we've already signed, and they've made that clear. They will not get us to $10 a day childcare, something that parents from coast to coast to coast have been asking for so long.
Mhm.
So we need to go to Canadians and ask them to decide: do they
Okay.
want $10 a day childcare, or do they want um, what the Conservatives are offering, which is
I
tax?
believe, yeah, I believe the Conservatives are offering some kind of a subsidy. Uh,
No, they're offering tax credits, which
right.
do not bring the cost of childcare fees down to $10. They will not create more affordable childcare spaces. Our plan creates hundreds of thousands of new affordable childcare spaces. They will not hire more teachers. We will hire and train more early childhood educators.
Okay.
They have no plan for an Indigenous early learning and childcare system. They have no plan to accommodate and make sure that the Canada-wide system of early learning and childcare is inclusive of all children, including Canadian kids with disabilities. So they're offering a tax credit.
Right.
We're offering to build a system and bring fees down to $10. It's a very different, two different visions, and our vision is already in progress in, as I said, 7 provinces and 1 territory. They will cancel those agreements if they come, if they have the chance. So we're telling Canadians that's the choice that you have. Secondly, on housing, we're the only political party that is publicly committed to ending chronic homelessness. The NDP mentions homelessness only once in their party platform. The Conservatives don't even mention it at all. We have the track record through the National Housing Strategy and Reaching Home. We've built more affordable housing than any other party in office. We've built more housing supply. We are working with cities to move forward on a number of initiatives to tackle homelessness, to
Hmm.
tackle affordability of housing and housing affordability, which are, building more affordable housing for Canadians, safe
Right.
and a stable place to call home. So all of those things are not being offered by the other side. Again, we want Canadians to look at our plan. We're the only political party through the Liberal Housing Plan that's offering to end blind bidding in real estate transactions.
I see. Well, thank you. Thank you for all of these initiatives that the Liberals are undertaking. However, the cost of curtailing or controlling the pandemic by means of vaccination, which costs hundreds of millions of dollars, the cost of building homes, however low cost they are, the cost of subsidizing of subsidizing the childcare among Canadians, this would mean much more resource, a lot more money. How is in the aftermath, for example, of this pandemic, how is the Liberal going to address the issue of economy?
Well, I'm really glad you asked me a question about childcare because when you invest in affordable childcare for Canadian families, it benefits the families, it benefits the children, but it's also good for the economy. The TD Bank Group has studied this issue. They've said that for every dollar that we invest in affordable childcare, we get back $2.80. That's a significant return on investment.
Interesting.
We get almost $30 billion every year in GDP growth. More, hundreds of thousands of women, particularly with children, go back to work because they have affordable childcare. Governments collect more tax revenues from more people working. We are able to address labor market shortages, worker shortages across the country, partly through this policy. So this is not just smart social policy; it's very smart and much needed economic policy, especially as we recover from the COVID-19 pandemic.
We are still in the pandemic, and
Of course.
I am fully vaccinated as well as the members of my family.
So am
Uh,
I.
yeah, the fourth wave, that's good to know. Uh, the conservatives are not known for for having 100% vaccination. While we respect our Canadian citizens, their right to choose, I feel that my right to be protected against this deadly virus is paramount. How is the Liberal addressing these concerns, particularly the unvaccinated? Are you doing a mandatory vaccination?
Well, no. I mean, in Canada, people are free to make their choices, but of course, we are
Right.
encouraging as many Canadians as possible to get vaccinated. And we are the party in government that has delivered vaccines for Canadians. I mean, how difficult it was in the beginning to get vaccines to any country around the world, but it is the Liberal Party in government that has delivered for Canadians. And as I said, we have delivered vaccine doses for every eligible Canadians 2 months ahead of schedule. You
That's
know,
good.
we promised that we will do that by September. Now we've achieved that goal by July. So we will also work with provinces and territories to harmonize the vaccine credential system, the vaccine passport.
Okay.
We will, as I said, encourage as many Canadians as possible to get vaccinated. I'm doubly vaccinated, so is my family, and we'll continue to work hard to win this fight and complete this fight against the COVID-19 pandemic.
We are all hopeful that this will happen soon. Let's move on to climate change issues, Mr. Minister. Mr. Trudeau is pushing his climate plan as the only one climate scientist and economists agree is realistic. However, 6 years into his term, Minister Trudeau's climate change related initiatives seem to have produced no progress or very little at all. Your comment, please.
Well, I don't agree with that. First of all, it's important to recognize that our plan is the plan that has received the top marks from environmentalists as well as from economists. It's easy to put out a plan, but it's more difficult to really put out a credible plan that gets the support of many experts. And they have given our plan the highest grade. Secondly, we've achieved a lot in the last 6 years by more investments than ever before in renewable energy, in greening our economy, in training and providing more jobs in the green economy, by funding the training and the technology needed to green our economy. We are the party in government that introduced a price on pollution,
I'm
which
glad
is
that you
now
brought,
accepted.
yeah, I'm glad that you alluded, Mr. Minister, to the 6 years of government by the Liberals. However, compared to the first 2 years of the Liberal government, where the average emission was at about 181.7 billion tons, in the last couple of years, this has gone up to over 191 million tons. So does that indicate that the government has a cap in place to limit production or emissions?
Well, we have to do more. I know that there's more work to be done, but we are absolutely committed to our 2030 targets. But more importantly, we also want to make sure that we're building the necessary investments right now to reach and to arrive at a net zero economy for Canada by 2050. That is a commitment that we have made. That's not a commitment that has been made by the Conservatives, for example. But to get there, you need to invest, you need to build, you need to make sure that you're supporting that transition. It's not going to happen overnight. So we all have to do more. I agree, but putting a price on pollution, which is now accepted across Canada, is even accepted by the other parties after so much time opposing that, is a huge, huge victory because it is about making sure that we are discouraging pollution and encouraging investments in clean technology. Unfortunately, that will be my last question. I have to
Okay.
rush to other engagements.
Well, thank you very much for your time. I was about to ask you about the indigenous people issue, but I guess that would remain unanswered at this point.
I
Hopefully, we can
will.
speak
So
again.
I will answer that very quickly by saying that it is the Liberal Party in government that has made so much progress on making sure that our partnership, our path of reconciliation with Indigenous peoples is not only ambitious but aggressive in terms of achievements and deliverables. We're the party in government that has made it a priority, and Justin Trudeau has said time and time and again that the Liberal Party in government's top priority is the nation-to-nation relationship between Canada and Indigenous peoples of Canada. That has been the guiding principles of our government. And in fact, we're the only political party in 2015 that committed to implementing all of the recommendations of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. The other political parties committed to either not implementing those recommendations or implementing some of the recommendations. It's only the Liberal Party of Canada that committed to implementing all of the recommendations. We have made tremendous progress in solving and investing to overcome boil water advisories so that we can deliver clean water to Indigenous communities across Canada. We're the party in government that has delivered distinctions-based funding in partnership with national Indigenous organizations, governments, and communities on housing, on child welfare, on fisheries, on transit, on policing, on all sorts of issues. We have been so aggressive on this file, and I believe our record speaks for itself. Of course, there's more work to be done, and we'll continue to prioritize the work that is needed and do it in partnership with Indigenous people.
Thank you very much for all those inputs, Minister Ahmed Hussein, Minister for Family and Children Development. Thank you, sir, and
Thank
all the
you.
best to the Liberal Party and to you as well.
Thank you so much. Maraming salamat.
Salamat po. Bye-bye. And you heard it, the Minister of Family and Children Development, that's Minister Ahmed Hussein, has given us inputs on what the sitting government has done so far and what is planning to do for the benefit of the Canadian people. Ngayong darating pong September 20, ang halalan dito sa Canada. Kayo po ba ay rehistrado na? Kayo po ba ay handa ng bumoto? In fact, bukas po, pwede na kayong bumoto by availing of the advanced polling. Ako po, ang inyong lingkod, ay malapit lang dito sa amin yung polling place ko. Lalakarin ko lang. And then I'm gonna cast my vote. I have done my due diligence. Tinignan ko po yung record ng mga 5 kandidato dito sa aming riding. At meron na po akong napusuan. Hopefully hindi magbago ang takbo ng aking puso at isip pagsapit ng polling. But I'm gonna do that. Sabi po ni Regina, childcare is very close to my heart. What do you have to offer for those families whose work is shift? There is no daycare in the evening. What can the family do when your childcare only offers those families whose work is during the day? What about our thousands of healthcare workers and other workers whose work is not during the day? Unfortunately, Regina, I was not able to ask those questions because, as you noticed, the minister was running on a very short time leash. 15 minutes lang po ang inallocate sa atin para sa naturang interview. But those are very good questions. I myself, share the sentiment of many mother, particularly yung pong mga nagtatrabaho na mga ina na yung panggabi, halimbawa ang duty, papaano yun? Wala namang daycare facilities na panggabi. Yan, kung meron man, yun ay yung mga private lang, yung mga bahay-bahay lang, yung mga kakilala, pwede mong iwanan yung bata, pero hindi yung tipo ng mga subsidized healthcare centers. Yan. Sabi naman ni Gloria Miller, the vaccine should be tested on politicians first. If they survive, the vaccine is safe. If they don't, then the country is safe. Okay, yan po ay quotation galing kay Monica Wisniewska. Okay, so thank you, Gloria, for that comment. Okay, that's medyo touching, or touchy. Subukan na muna para sa Pilipinas. Subukan muna ninyo sa sarili ninyo yung mga vaccine na yan, lalo na yung mga galing sa China, bago nyo isaksak sa akin. Pero katulad ng tanong ko po kanina, hindi po ba marapat lamang na ikonsidera ng marami yung kapakanan naman noong mga baksinado? Lalo na po ngayon, it's been proven ng mga statistics. Let's say, merong 100 na tinamaan halimbawa ng COVID ngayon. Dito po sa Canada, easily, 80% po ng mga yan ay unvaccinated o kaya yung hindi pa alam kung ano ang kondisyon ng kanilang vaccination status. Okay? Sa makatwid, kung meron namang mga baksinado na naapektuhan, yan po ay 20% lamang. So, mas mataas po, di hamak, yung tsansa na kung kayo ay hindi baksinado, na kayo ay tamaan ng virus na ito. Lalo na po yung Delta variant na siyang ngayon ay nagiging dahilan ng frantic concerns among governments. The Philippines, as one particular country, an example of. Okay? Puno na raw po yung mga hospital. Halos 80% na, which is already a danger level. Dito po sa Canada, sa Alberta, puno na po halos yung healthcare. So ano po, talagang major concern po. At kadalasan napatutunayan nila na yung mga bakunado ay okay na, yung mga karamihan sa mga kaso ay hindi bakunado. So kung meron pong karapatan ang bawat tao na pumili kung ano ang gagawin sa kanilang katawan, meron din po sigurong karapatan yung mga taong bakunado na gustong maging ligtas sa kapahamakan dala ng virus na ito. Comment ko lang po yan. Okay, registered na raw si Regina. Okay. Well, maraming salamat po doon po sa mga sumali sa ating munting panayam kay Minister Hussein. I hope na kahit paano ay nakakuha kayo ng punto de vista ng mga liberal kung ano ang nagawa na nila at kung ano ang gagawin nila. Yan. Kasi sa mga tanong para kay Minister sana kanina, yung tungkol sa mga indigenous people, although he touched on it but very briefly. Gusto ko sana itanong, 6 years after, of course, I'm not putting the blames on the liberal because before the liberals, marami rin mga government po ang nandiyan dyan at naupo. I mean, the conservative, for example, were there for like 2 or 3 terms, dalawang majority at isang minority government. And then, what did they do? Before that, a liberal government of Jean Chrétien. Ano ang ginawa nila para sa kapakanan, halimbawa ng ating mga kapatid na First Nation members? Okay? Yan pong mga yan, ang mga original tenants, mga nakatira dito sa Canada. At utang po natin sa kanila ang bagay na tayo ngayon ay nandito naninirahan sa bansang Canada, hand in hand or in the presence of both nations. Pero lumalabas po na hanggang sa ngayon, issue pa rin yung clean drinking water, yung availability niyan. It's unbelievable. Hindi ako makapaniwala na hanggang sa ngayon ay meron pang ganyang issue. Hindi po sa lahat, pero meron pa rin. So, at saka po yung representasyon, halimbawa ng mga indigenous people sa government, medyo kulang. Papaano mong susulbahin, halimbawa, yung problemang yan kung walang representasyon, hindi mo naririnig yung boses, halimbawa, ng mga kinaukulang yan. Yan po ang isa sa mga issues na dapat ay sagutin ng kasalukuyang gobyerno at ng mga gobyernong susunod pa. Dahil obviously, yung pong mga nakaraang gobyerno ay walang nagawa. Although, we give credit to the liberals kasi nga, yung pong rekomendasyon ng Trust and Confidence Committee or whatever dito sa Canada ay sinunod po nila simula noong 2015. Okay? So, pero kulang pa rin po. Napakarami pang pagkukulang. Yan. So, anyways, yung mandatory vaccination, medyo iniwasan po niya yung sagot. Hindi talaga niyang diniretsyong sagutin. Sabi niya, ginagalang natin ang karapatan pumili ng lahat ng ating mga kababayan. And we will leave it at that. Yan po ang galing sa kanya. Pero sa akin po, dapat siguro mas pahalagahan yung kapakanan at kaligtasan ng mga sumunod, yung mga bakunado. At doon po sa mga hindi bakunado, well, kung kayo po ay lalabas, siguraduhin lamang po ninyo na inoobserbahan ninyo yung standard health protocols. Para naman sa ganon, yung panganib ay hindi ninyo dalhin at ilipat sa ibang nabakuna na. Kasi po kahit nabakunado, po pwede pa rin tamahan. Okay? Anyways, kung kayo po ay hindi pa rehistrado, siguraduhin ninyo rehistrado na kayo. Dalhin ninyo, sigurado, pagpunta po ninyo sa polling place, dalhin ninyo yung government-issued ID. Yung pong merong picture ninyo para nang sa ganon ay makaboto kayo. At kung hindi pa po kayo kumbinsido kung sino ang inyong iboboto, sana po nakatulong kahit paano yung konti nating interview kay Minister Ahmed Hussein. Okay. Sabi ni Regina, that's correct, Kuya Dan. It is an issue that all previous government had a chance to answer. Yan. Yung po yung sinabi ko kanina. Kasi kagabing nanonood ako doon sa debate ng mga party leaders, medyo tinabangan ako ng konti doon sa NDP, lalo na. At saka kay Mr. O'Toole. Kasi bine-blame nila yung gobyerno ni Justin Trudeau. Alam naman natin na halos 4 na taon lamang yung naging panunungkulan niya ng maayos. Dahil nga doon sa pangalawang termino niya na minority government siya being propped by the NDP, halos wala siyang magawa dahil unang taon niya, pagdating nung Marso, nandirito na yung pandemya. So bali 2.5 buwan lamang. Actually, wala pa 2.5 buwan na siya nanunungkulan bilang minority prime minister ng bansa. Kaya hindi pa na-implement ang kahit na anong mga programang pwede nilang gawin dahil siyempre priority yung pandemya. Okay, at alam naman natin na yung bilyong-bilyong dolyar na ginastos ng kasalukuyang gobyerno ay napunta sa biyayang ibinigay sa mga mamamayan. Kagabi kasi nanonood ako, medyo disappointed ako ng konti, kasi as usual sa bagay, what do you expect from politicians during campaign period? Siyempre lahat yan palalabasin nila, mabango sila, at palalabasin nila yung partidong kalaban nila ay walang ginagawa. At masama, kung meron man, masama ginagawa. Kasi sige sabi si Mr. O'Toole ng yung gobyerno ni Trudeau araw-araw nag-release o rumihiram ng mahigit 400 milyong dolyar. Araw-araw, 400 milyong dolyar. Sabi ko, okay, quick calculation. Medyo mahina ako sa math, pero parang mali yata yun. Kasi yung 400 milyong dolyar, araw-araw, wala po, sa loob lang ng 3 araw, aabot na yan ng 1 bilyon. Kung totoo yun, dapat daang-daang bilyon na ang ginastos ng gobyerno ni Mr. Trudeau sa kasalukuyang panahon. Hindi po totoo yun Kasi nga, so far, lumalabas, 60 bilyon lamang ang binudget ni Mr. Trudeau para at yan ay napunta sa pagbili ng mga bakuna. Okay, at narinig po naman ninyo, at totoo yan. As early as July, majority of the Canadians have been vaccinated. So, kudos to those who are implementing this program. Of course, this is in coordination with the provincial governments. Right. Anyways, ako po ay kailangan na magpaalam dahil kailangan po magtrabaho. Okay, basahin na din natin ang comment ni Regina. Mukhang si Regina lang ang nagko-comment. Sabi po niya, I think the minister is correct to respect the rights of people. We really can't have a mandatory COVID vaccine. Although I do agree that we have responsibilities to keep not only ourselves safe from COVID, but the people around us. And I totally agree. Re-respetuhin po natin ang karapatan ng bawat isa, pero dapat po ay bigyan din ng pagpapahalaga yung kondisyon, yung kapakanan ng mga taong mas nakararami. Kaya lumalabas po, mas nakararami ang mga bakunado, at dahil po meron pa ring danger na dala ng mga nung virus doon sa mga bakunado, sana po ay medyo mag-isip-isip pa rin ng konti, kasi kung ang dahilan lang naman ay hindi naman health issue, then siguro po dapat mas ikonsidera ang kapakanan ng mas nakararami. And with that, we'd like to say thank you to all. Sana po ay nakatulong kami kahit paano in your decision-making process kung sino ang inyong ihahalal na magiging puno ng ating bayan ngayong darating na taon. Maraming salamat po. And to all, have a wonderful day, everyone. Bye-bye!